Let's just jump right in. You've heard the question a million times, right? Are leaders born that way, or are they made? Well, today, we're going to dig into a really cool model that says the answer is actually a lifelong journey, one that, believe it or not, you're already on.
So why does this even matter? Well, get this. A survey from the Center for Public Leadership found that a whopping 69% of Americans believe we're in a leadership crisis. That's huge. And it tells us we're not just looking for leaders in big-shot corporate offices. We need them everywhere, in all of our communities.
And that kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? If we're feeling this big a gap, maybe we've been thinking about how leaders are made all wrong. What if it's less about one specific training course or a fancy promotion and more about, well, your whole life?
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll touch on that leadership crisis. Then we'll get into this idea of development across a lifetime. We'll look at the 3 big pillars that hold it up, see it in action with a really clear example, and then, most importantly, we'll talk about how you can start unlocking your own growth.
Okay, first things first. When we say there's a leadership gap, what exactly are we talking about? What even is a leader? I love this definition. What's so powerful about it is that it has nothing to do with the title on a business card. It's all about influence and inspiration. It's about how you show up in the world and lift other people up. And if that's the definition, then anyone, you, me, anybody, can be a leader at any point in their life.
And that is the perfect lead-in to the big idea of this explainer. A new model suggests that leadership isn't a destination you arrive at. It's something you're constantly building, something you develop over your entire life.
And this is the crucial part. Your whole life, everything you've been through from when you were a kid until this very moment is basically your leadership training ground. It's this ongoing journey where every single step shapes how you influence yourself and the people around you.
So this big idea is built on 3 really solid theories. And when we weave them together, they give us a kind of map for this whole journey. Let's check out the tools we need to actually understand it. Okay, pillar number 1 comes from a researcher named Bruce Avolio, and he calls them trigger events. You can think of these as the moments that hit the gas pedal on your growth. You know, those key experiences? Maybe it's a tough project at work, a new friendship, a big failure, or an unexpected success. They're the moments that force you to stop, think, and grow.
So if trigger events are the gas pedal, our second pillar is the roadmap. This is based on Erikson's idea that our lives happen in these distinct stages. And as you can see, each stage has its own central challenge. When you navigate that challenge, you build a new skill, a new capacity, like learning competence when you're in school or finding a sense of purpose as a teenager. These stages are the backdrop for all those trigger events.
All right, so we've got the trigger events and the life stages where they happen. This third pillar, the social change model, shows us the so what. It shows us the impact of all that growth. It starts with you, with self-awareness. Then it expands to how you work with your friends or your team. And ultimately, it's about creating positive change for your community and for society. See, it's like an ever-widening circle of influence.
Okay, that's enough theory for now. Let's see how this all clicks together in the real world. I want you to meet a hypothetical person the researchers call Morgan A. Leader. Let's follow their journey.
So at age 10, Morgan joins 4-H. That's a trigger event happening right smack in the middle of Erikson's competence stage, and it teaches Morgan teamwork. Then at 16, joining another club makes Morgan ask big questions about identity. Then college hits, and it's all about building relationships. Fast forward to middle adulthood, and the focus shifts to giving back to society. And finally, at 70, mentoring the next generation brings it all full circle with a sense of wisdom. See how it works? Each stage brings a new trigger and a new layer of leadership.
And you can totally see that social change model in action here, right? Morgan's journey starts with personal skills, then it moves to group dynamics, and eventually expands to making a contribution to an entire industry and community. That potential for making a positive impact just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
But here's the thing. This isn't just a nice story about Morgan. It's a blueprint. The very same forces that shaped their journey are shaping your journey right now. So, let's talk about how you can actually start steering the ship yourself.
Remember those trigger events we talked about? Well, here's another, more intense-sounding name for them, a disorienting dilemma. I know, it sounds dramatic, but it's really just any experience that makes you hit pause and question things. It could be getting some tough feedback, failing at a project, or even just a really deep conversation. These moments, these are the doorways to real transformation.
But here's the catch, and this might be the single most important takeaway.
just having one of these experiences isn't enough. All that potential for growth can just fizzle out if we blow right past it. To turn these moments into real, lasting change, there is one simple but incredibly powerful step you have to take.
And that step is critical reflection. It's just a simple act of intentionally making sense of what happened to you. So first, the thing happens. Second, and this is key, you have to consciously step back and think about it. Third, you talk it through, either with yourself, maybe in a journal, or with a mentor or a friend. And finally, you take what you learned and decide, okay, what am I going to do differently now?
So how do you actually do it? This right here, this is your toolkit. These are the exact questions to ask yourself after any big experience. Seriously, just ask, what happened? Why did it happen? What did I learn about myself? What's the real meaning of this? And the big one, what will I do now because of this? This is how you take the wheel on your own leadership journey.
So that leaves us with this final thought. Leadership isn't some title someone gives you. It's the wisdom you build from living your life. It's born from hope, it's built with competence, and it's guided by care. So, when you look at your own life, right now, what's the next challenge you see coming over the horizon? And how are you going to use it to grow?